Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Look at the fancy new title screen and things. I spent a whole 10 minutes on this before my computer caught on fire. I want that. There we go. That's better. Yeah. So that was a thing that happened. Sorry, this is late. We were expecting it to be earlier. Oh.
Why do you build me up, Buttercup baby, just to let me down and mess me around?
I see.
That is horribly cut off.
It is. I'm trying to fix it. It's underneath the REBBL logo. It should be fixed now. Thank you. Yeah, so as we were going, thanks for the resub, Shadorra. One of these days I'll get you an emote you can use.
I feel like it's weird that I don't have one.
I have to make one and put it there, but I just haven't, because I was waiting on this. This is irrelevant. The point was, I'm waiting on someone to make me one, and it's taking forever, so I might ask someone else to do it. This is our fancy new title screen. I worked on it a bit earlier, and then my CPU decided to catch on fire. And by that, I mean my CPU cooler failed. I don't know. I'm not sure what happened. It's an AIO, like a water one, and I think the pump broke or something. But I would turn on my PC, and the CPU would go instantly to 90 degrees and shut down. So I cannibalized my media server and took out its air cooler and put it in, and now I'm running interference trying to stop my cat from climbing into the computer case because the sides panels are still off. So I hope you guys appreciate all the effort that I'm going into to bring you content on reasonable time frame.
I sat around and played Heroes of the Storm and drank beer.
Yeah, well, I stressed out. Anyway, welcome to this. This is the pre-review of the REL 9D and 9E divisions for week 7. And the reason why we have this fancy new title screen is that I am trying to cover up some results. Because we are doing the thing that we did 2 weeks ago, where instead of going over every team individually, we're going to do a couple of little casts of a game from each division, and then take a look at the leaderboards and stuff. And we are doing the casts first, so we don't spoil the results. So that's what this black screen is here for, and why you can see our gorgeous faces and my enormous, ludicrous hair. It was very humid out today, and my hair decided to go super curly.
It's got a bit of a plateau of poof going on.
It's because my headphones are on it. Yeah, it really does.
I really liked that we posted that photo of us at PAX to Discord, and someone was like, who's Ben? And someone else was like, oh, he's the guy with sunglasses on his head. And you're like, that's not sunglasses, it's just my hair.
Yeah, it was McNaughton, I think, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. We are bringing it to you. It's about an hour late than normal, but that's fine. So shall we actually get started with what's going on?
Yeah, let's stream the 9E match first, just to be contrarians.
I was going to say the exact same thing. So
I said it first.
Going to watch a game that I was told is good. Between Friendship is Massacre and Does Not Knockaz. Partially because morally the coach of Friendship is Massacre told me it was good, and partially because we were supposed to cast one of Hogstench's games and we didn't get to. You're not the first person to say that, CR boys, in any way, shape, or form. I've walked into gas stations and had the obviously high attendance, been like, dude, you look like Seth Rogen. I'm like, I know. I know.
Extremely high gas attendance is such a Nova Scotian affair.
Yeah, it's true. Anyway, we're going to watch Does Not Knockaz and Friendship is Massacre. I'm going to get into the replay and pause it, and then I'll switch the screens to where you can see it. I just want to get past the score screens and stuff so you guys don't know what the results are.
Yeah, production value.
Yeah. I'm going to have to edit out so much of the, my PC was on fire talk at the beginning of this for the YouTube.
Why? It's banter.
I mean, I guess, but it's not relevant banter.
I don't think they're coming here for the relevant banter. Alright, we're gonna count down this.
Yep, I can bring us into the game, however, so say goodbye to large versions of me and Shadorra, and say hello to small versions of me and Shadorra.
Are we clicking on the thing now?
Yeah, I'm in the game. I am ready to press play on at the start.
Oh, okay, I'll get there as well.
Yep. I just wanted to make sure that I was in game at least before, so that we
So
could
fancy.
so we didn't
It's
spoil
like
the
I'm
results.
watching the game live.
Almost. Although there's a weird visual bug right now, and every like 5 seconds, all the players
move
are
around
just
a
going
bit, yeah.
vt, vt, and like doing the little laser thing that
Okay,
says they move.
let's go.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, it looks like the Orcs have chosen to receive first, or, well, the Orcs are receiving first regardless of how the toss went.
Oh, mine decided to do the toss thing again for some reason, so I'm probably behind you a bit.
The Undead is setting up in the rule of 5.
Yeah, I'm a
He has
second
just
behind
finished
you.
the rule of 5.
Yeah, I'm behind you.
Okay, I'll pause for a second.
I'll tell you when he finishes the rule of 5. It was just I went to the beginning of the replay and then pressed play, and then it does the coin toss again for some reason because it thinks the beginning of the game is before the coin toss. All right, go.
All right, they just finished setting up. Now he's just rearranging some stuff.
Yeah, he just switched a ghoul and a zombie.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Okay, so now we can actually talk about what's going on. This is Morley, Captain Bubsby, and Hogstench playing Snot Knockaz. So we got some Orcs versus Undead.
Yep, pretty standard setup. He's got a really strong core in the center here to avoid any blitzing and tying up of these ghouls. He's also got the plus movement mummy, likely to be free to blitz if he wants to do a riskier blitz, but he'll probably do a white blitz. The Orcs, in their
likely.
hand, are setting up to punch the living hell out of this dirty player zombie, which makes a lot of sense. Proud and Embarrassment is great. I look forward to whatever produces that emotional combo.
Yeah,
Okay, so Knockers got an extra reroll. Nice
Yep.
for the Orcs. They can greed reroll some punches.
yeah, because they're up to 4, so that's good. Kick right. That's not a. I mean, it's an okay kick, I guess.
Yeah, it's fine.
He'll have
You want to be close to the ball. You want the ball to be close to your LOS as Orcs. I mean, especially because the Undead don't really have the ability to get in and take this.
You can with ghouls, and he also has an edgy 4 white, but it's on the wrong side. The only reason why I say it's not amazing is that it's
skulls.
far away from the thrower, and thrower's only movement 5, so like that ball is there. It's not going to move anywhere. Like he can't get it more safe. He's going to have to bring players to the ball rather than bring the ball to where his players are.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to dedicate more players to that, but with the punches in the line, it doesn't really make that much of a difference, honestly, because there's just so many Orcs in the way.
I like what he did here. He's tying up the 3 zombies with a rookie Black Orc instead of the guard one. He's got the guard piece back here and protected a bit, so it's hard to efficiently either blitz him or
Any of the players
for
nearby.
a foul on the dirty player zombie and rewarded.
Really? That's interesting.
I can see.
I mean, fouling
it's-
with Orcs is fine. They're cheap too, but that's only a 1 assist on a not really high value piece.
Yeah,
he has a
I
bench, I guess, but so does the Undead player.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not
I have
bad, I
mixed feelings
guess,
about it. Yeah,
but it's also not good.
no, it was like an AV6 foul. So
Yeah, but it's on a piece that's irrelevant. I mean, the dirty player is
no,
slightly
it's
better
the
than a
dirty
regular
player. That's why
zombie,
he
I
did it.
guess.
Yeah, so it's not quite like hitting a 40k lineman. Okay.
I mean, he's not gonna really get. He doesn't have much in the way of options in terms of actually trying to get around these Orcs.
So this is also worth talking about as well. He is only based with his strength 5 pieces, only one of the strength 5 pieces. So that was good, other than tying up this side here. He's trying to funnel him down this left-hand side. I don't think it's going to work. The right-hand side is also pretty open, but he's got the plus agi white over here, acting as a bit of a safety pre-screen. So
Yeah, that's
Ooh,
plus
injured, but that's a regen, I think. Yep, regen from a smashed collarbone.
You're
Pretty
like
nice.
a second ahead of me.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I mean,
Paused there. I'm skipping all the animations, which might help.
I'm doing everything I can to do so. Yeah, the orcs are just gonna move up towards the center, and they're not gonna fall into the going down the side trap. Although, like,
unless they deal with this mummy, they're not gonna have a hole. But okay, yeah, they are gonna deal with the mummy.
I mean, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is that that's how you do well as undead in this matchup? Is that you have 2 strength 5 and the orcs have none. So you really need to leverage that. You also have movement 7, where their best is movement 6, which isn't a huge difference, but if you can get control of the ball, you should be able to get away from them relatively easily. You also have expendable zombies. Yeah, and then you can get a pretty easy blitz on that killer orc, but just a push.
That's a snake to dodge. Yeah, I'd probably reroll that as well.
It doesn't have dodge,
not a snake,
but it's a 1.
It's a 1. That's what I meant. Yeah.
It is. He got a 1 and then a 2. Good thing he's agi 4.
Yeah, that would have been a 1 and 9. Now, I don't like this, simply because, first of all, your guard is in the wrong place, and also, it's pretty easy for him to disengage these two, like just leave these 2 black orcs here, and suddenly your mummies are pretty tied up. It's hard for... You've kind of given him the ideal scenario, which is an AV9 single piece tying up a mummy. Though that said, they are in the center of the field, so it's not that bad. But
this is where the movement is a little weird. Like movement, we've talked about the movement on this mummy to death. If that movement was guard, you'd be in a way better position where those 2 mummies are, because then suddenly it's so much harder to remove them. But on the other hand, he also wouldn't have gotten to that position without them.
Yeah, but he's not going to remove the mummies. He's just going to walk away from them.
I mean, it's so much easier to block them.
It's true.
And like if you had guard on both those pieces, you could tie up a lot more orcs.
I'm just going to blitz this ghoul. Yeah, okay, this makes sense. Yeah, that's a good blitz.
But yeah, you've tied up a lot of... Morley's tied up a lot of his own players.
No, just a stun. It's fine.
Yeah, Morley's tied up a lot of his own players with this, and a lot of the orcs can just leave. Like you said, which means he's now... He can screen to the left a little bit, rather than fully cage, and use more of his players. I don't know if... The movement 4 mummy didn't really have a good place to go, but he also didn't have a... Like, I don't know if I would have put him there.
No,
that certainly helps.
Having the 1 die turn into a both down is bad for Morley.
He doesn't... The stun is bad, though. Doesn't have a whole lot free right now. But he can do something to get this mummy a little more involved, at least. The downside is he has no real play towards the ball. You can start screening off with like a ghoul, but at that point, that ghoul's just gonna get hit.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have followed this mummy block either. No, I guess even if you had tied him up with a zombie, they have linemen right here that were just gonna tie you up as well. So there was no real good solution to this.
This isn't too bad. Like what he's done isn't bad now. He's split the orcs a little bit. Like there are 3 that are not really as capable of helping. It's not as good as you'd like, and you've got the whites down at the bottom that are actually relevant or going to be relevant to be able to defend this a little bit. Like the thrower can still has a lot of space to just go forward, but at least you have a ghoul and a white that are capable of assisting. Well, that doesn't help.
Just lost his IG4.
Oh, that's a lot of knockouts.
You might be ahead of me now.
No, I got a weird graphic glitch where the bell copy-pasted itself like 1,000 times across the screen.
Yeah, I've seen that one a lot. It's usually the lightning bolt, but...
Well, you will often get out-removed versus orcs. They get the Mighty Blow, they get the Armor 9, whereas...
He's also getting really good blitzes on you. He's getting a lot of Mighty Blow hits on your AV8, AV7 pieces, so it's not surprising that he out-removed you, or at least has been out-removing you.
Yeah, now the downside is both your mummies are tied up, and, like, the mummies are your biggest advantage in this situation. Like, you have the armor or the strength 5 pieces to that can actually outstrength orcs, but they're currently kind of stuck on a couple black orcs.
I mean, the good news is this is a pretty efficient. This is a pretty inefficient way to tie up 2 mummies. Like three black orcs is not ideal for the orcs, but the orcs can, with their blitzers, do a lot of work, even without the mummies, or even without the black orcs, I should say.
Yeah, the whites certainly can help, although one of them being knocked out is a little sad.
Yeah, so he's free to pretty much run this in whenever he wants, though of course I wouldn't now.
No, you're so safe if you run forward a bit.
Oh, that's a really good KO.
That is a really good KO. It's a good foul, too.
It's only a 1 assist, but
it's with Dirty Player.
Dirty Player, so it's equivalent to the foul that went before it, but this one was on a guard strength 4 piece, so a little bit more valuable.
Yeah, this ball is super safe, and there's not really a whole lot you can do to prevent it. You can try to force him to score, though, and then you still have at least 4 turns or 3 turns potentially to try and tie it up. But the downside is if you try to play that way, like the only way you can really do it, I think, is by pressuring the ball at this point, because you're being out removed by the orcs and they'll out bash you. So if you try to like remove them by trying to threaten removals and bashing and stuff, then they're not going to really fall for that.
This is also a good foul.
It is because that's the wrestle ghoul. That's the wrestle ghoul.
He is rolling pretty well on his block dice and on his armor dice for that matter. Wow, that's gross. Red die, no block. Gets a knockdown.
You're ahead again.
Oh, sorry. How did that happen?
I'm not sure. But turn is switched now.
Okay.
So do you like? You could score now as orcs. I don't think I would.
No.
The downside is your wrestle ghoul is down and surrounded. Although if you wanted to make a super YOLO play, you could like do a million dodges and try to wrestle.
That is a 3 die on a black orc. You don't see that super often.
It's certainly not. And this is a really good foul too.
Yeah.
And
Gang
here it comes.
foul.
Yeah, like he's just trying to do what he can to threaten the important pieces to see if he can make the orc score, which seems good to me.
That's really bad though.
Not rewarded, and just a stun. I was gonna say you could do some stupid like ludicrous dodge GFI, like try to 1 die wrestle the ball with the ghoul, but not anymore.
I mean, it wouldn't be worth it simply because you have no recovery option. Like that just gets your ghoul blitzed.
Mm-hmm. You just want the orc to score here, and he's not going to.
No, of course not.
But worst case, this is the orcs' drive, and you don't actually have any players out, minus the zombie, but you have a bench. So if you can pretty easily make this a tie if you take the 8 turns or whatever to tie it up. It's hard to make it a win at this point because the orcs are so in control of the first half, and you don't want to give them another drive where you're trying to just desperately steal it from them to make it 2-1. It's much more likely to end up 2-1 in their favor if you score early in the second half than it is to end up 2-1 in your favor. So you probably play it for the tie at this point, and just take a long time in the second half. No, as the
undead, yeah.
As the undead. Just play safe in your half and try to score in 8 turns. And orcs, you just want to defend well and see if you can steal the ball from them and then make it 2-1 or 2-0. And like as of right now, I see this game ending 2 ways, bar really stupid things, and that's either as a 1-1 tie or 2-0 for the orcs. Is basically
interesting
what I'm
that he put his mummy in harm's way down here. I would have probably blitzed the block tackle guy who is based up on your ghoul.
Yeah, he's gonna have an easy time just punching that ghoul, and that's armor 7. Instant block on the. Oh no, that was the white. But there's going to be a block on that ghoul certainly.
Yeah.
Because the ball is so safe, he can kind of do what he wants here. If you knock over that ghoul, especially, then you just don't even need to score either. But I would say you need to knock down a piece or two before you commit to that. Yeah, blitz the white to knock him over, or at least push him, and now you can get a better block on this ghoul with the block tackle guy. Still only a 1 die, but at least you're block tackle, so...
Oof, and rewarded with an injury.
Yeah. Unfortunately. So many 1 dies, but when you have block, you know, it's not unreasonable. Bunk. Yeah, and I don't think there's a single, the only player that can even mark up your ball is the down ghoul, and he has to do a bunch of dodges and 2 GFIs to even make that. So you're laughing, as the orcs right now. This will level the thrower. Trogdar de Burpinator.
Yeah, it's true. He's getting a lot of 1 dies, though. Admittedly, at least the 1 die on the ghoul had a 50% chance of knocking you over, so it wasn't like absurd. Yeah,
almost all of them are mostly safe 1 dies because they're block 1 dies against things with no block. So it's not like it's a 1 in 6 to fail, which is once you've done other things.
That foul is incredibly unlikely to work, but I
mean, you got to try it. It's the block. That's the mighty blow blitzer.
Yeah, that's the star player.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's not a great result. That 2 1. So that was with because tackle, right? I was like, why didn't you use dodge for that? Because it was a tackle orc. Yeah. Well, setting up for potentially a foul here. Not really a good one. You have to knock down that zombie too, and you don't have a way of doing it, so never mind. But yeah, as orcs, you know, take some safe blocks. Pretty easy one there on the zombie, and rewarded for a KO, or rewarded with a KO.
Yeah.
And then you just score, and he does, and that will level the thrower.
Which is nice. You always want to get him block, or
hey, Razor Sharp. Yeah, we will skip those orc cheerleaders. Thanks. No KO wake ups from Morley, which is
really rough. Yeah.
He does have a bench, but not enough. He had a 2-2 bench, I think.
Yeah, he's lost 4 players, counting the losing the Agi White is the real loss for sure.
Yeah, he had a zombie and a ghoul off during that. So, and it was the plus Agi ghoul was off, like his ball carrying ghoul was not on the line. He gets a chance for a 1 turn. I don't think he is going to bother trying, because the orcs are set up to sort of prevent that with the really wide spread. It's still possible, especially with movement 7, but it's not very easy. So I would imagine you just try to take a few easy blocks here for some SPP / removals, and then maybe do a vanity pass. You'd ideally want that Agi 4 ghoul like right up on the line if you were going to 1 turn. Plus, you don't have the pushes available to do it right now.
Yeah, he's saying if he had grab on his mummies, it gets a lot easier, which is fair.
Yeah, it does. It certainly does. Sorry about the Windows notifications. Should have fixed that. It's telling me my CPU is angry. Like, I know. It was on fire earlier. I don't know if you actually
on this lineman, it looks like.
I'm not I don't know. I think it's possible, but I think you need grab to make it work. Because he's down players, and the movement 7 is possible, not very easy. Yeah, I guess like I wouldn't even bother to try personally.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if I'd go for that foul.
Yeah, do the vanity pass at least. See if you can get an SPP out of it. Huh. Nope.
I know Khemri need a full roster. I'm not sure if Undead do. I don't think so. They've got more movement.
Movement 6 needs a full roster. ghouls are movement 7, so you need almost a full roster, at least. You can do it 1 down, I think. You got the agi white back. The good thing about them scoring, I guess, is that on 8 is that you get 2 chances for wake ups, but that's 4 dice rolls, and only one of them was above a 4, was a 4 or higher so far, which is non-ideal. But you have your at least a. You're only down 1 now, and they're all zombies, so it's okay. Also, it's thunder on top of my CPU issues. It is now thundering and lightning outside, so there's a chance that suddenly I just may vanish, because today is my day, apparently. At least I have beer.
It's weird that he's got his 2 blitzers 1 square farther back. It does make it harder for him to get good blitzes next turn with these pieces, but
I've seen it before. I think
that's
there's a
terrible
reason for it.
Not a lot in Morley's favor this game.
You're definitely ahead then, because the kickoff hasn't even happened yet. It's happening now. Blitz, yeah. Trying to skip it, but it won't let me. I'm pressing skip and nothing is happening. Okay. There we go. That was really strange. I don't know, like, the universe has been against me this week, and I'm not really sure why.
I would have gone for a hit on the white, I feel, over the zombie.
Can you not hear me again? Looks like you cannot hear me again. Da-da-da, you can't hear me. Hello.
You could have a mighty blow. I know.
Although my mic is definitely connected because the stream can hear me, it is Discord being dumb.
Oh, there we go.
So I will leave the call. And
oh yeah, you haven't been talking, so.
can you hear me now?
Hello.
Hello. Nope. The universe is against me. Well, you talk. I'll figure this out. Goodbye, Shadorra's camera, while I figure this out.
Apparently, I am talking because Ben is going to fix it.
So it's funny because you guys can hear
Yeah,
me, but he can't.
Yeah, CR boys, it's not really going well for Morley, though he did just kill someone, which is, you know, a plus.
Shadorra is a terrible human being. He can't hear me.
Not really where he wants to be in the attrition game. Yeah, Ben just can't hear. I can't hear Ben because Discord is having issues.
Hello, no.
You've also lost Shadorra Cam, so everything is just completely fucked.
Just don't tell him that I'm making fun of him behind the
Hello?
scenes. Hello? Nope, still not good enough.
Your mic is
Hello?
muted. There we go. I can hear you.
Yeah, I couldn't unmute it. It was stuck until I restarted Discord. I was making fun of you to the stream because you couldn't hear me, but they could. So
It's a little rude.
yeah, so
Thought we were friends.
there we go. I missed something important. A dead
Morley
lineman.
Killed someone, but it didn't really matter.
Okay, cool. I'm back. Yeah, like I said, the universe hates me this week. Oh, but now the Shadorra cam is broken.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Should be fixed now, I think. Shadorra cam fixed. All good. Sorry if you're watching this on YouTube. I'm having technical difficulties.
Ben has had a rough day.
I've had a really rough week. Things just
Yeah,
aren't
man.
going my way all week, and I don't really understand why. Anyway, back to the game.
Now this is fascinating because this aggressive move up here almost to me seems like he's playing for the win, despite being so far down in players. But this is a good position. He's moved the cage up a lot. It's very secure.
Yeah,
It's
you're
not touching
quite a bit
anything.
ahead. I just saw the white blitz.
I'll pause.
He is moving the white to the corner. He is
Let me know when the black orc marks up the cage.
Oh, a while, because I'm still on Morley's turn. Morley just moved up the cage to the part where you're talking about, where it looks like he's just being aggressive. It's definitely more dangerous, but there's only 2 actual free orcs, and 3 of them are stuck on, or 3 free orcs, and black orc just marked up the cage now.
Okay.
There's only 3 free orcs, and 2 of them are stuck up on mummies. The mummies being in the middle of the pitch is nice, because they're much more able to impact the actual play. But this is dangerous in that, you know, there are enough free orcs that they can just blitz a corner of the cage probably if they'd like, or at least
not
mark
going
up a whole
to.
bunch of it.
Yeah, they're just gonna mark up the cage.
With the mummies stuck in the center now, it's going to be hard for the whites to get good blocks, likely, because you don't have guard on any of the whites or anything. Double skulls.
Oh,
So there goes a reroll. A little bit more annoying this half because he doesn't have the free reroll, but down to 1 on turn 10. Skip. When I press skip, nothing happens, which probably doesn't.
okay, so I'll pause for 10 seconds.
I mean, I guess Black Orc just blocked a zombie. Stream can see this. I'm spam clicking on skip, and like it's highlighting, but it's not skipping.
Let me know when the mummy punches the black orc.
Now, he just pushed him. I hope me being frustrated is at least amusing to you, stream.
It's amusing to me. It's so rare to see you flustered. And so common to see me flustered. So it really works out.
I mean, I get flustered about things that are genuinely annoying.
That's a spicy red die.
That is a
Look at you,
spicy
Morley.
red die.
I mean, it's not that risky.
Are you
Okay,
gonna do a spicy little surf? Ball carrier surf blitz? Ooh,
I have ball carriered skink surfed, so
I like it.
you know, yeah.
Real spicy.
I don't know
Ooh,
how you're
and
gonna get the ball.
it's also the mighty blow guy. I really like that because you got based up really hard by the orcs, and it was gonna be hard for you to. Yeah, I can't skip. Like, look at this. Ah.
Calm your tits. This is pretty potato though.
Oh, this is so potato, but I like it. I mean, he based you up, and you needed to even up the numbers somehow. So you did what you could to base it up. Worked out, and most of the orcs are not free. It's easy for him to free up at least one, but he decides not to blitz with it. Blitz
man.
with the dodge blitz is to make it a 2-die,
Oh,
and double skulls. Oh
Yeah.
wow,
all of
not rewarded.
All
Wow.
of Hogstench's dice from the first half have
Vanished.
gone away. Yeah.
Yeah, so like on the one hand, you could have just 1-die blitzed that, but it was against it was a 1-die against a blodge piece, which is not really that likely. So you dodge out to make it a 2-die, but you don't get rewarded for it. Although now your ghoul is in a dangerous position. What do you do here? I mean,
We'll blitz him out.
bling. Oh, Strizer is hosting me. You guys who are seeing this from Strizer probably have no idea what this is. This is Blood Bowl. He's a local Nova Scotian streamer who does speed runs of mostly retro games. That works out. Take a reroll. You managed to get safe with it. Does he score though?
Oh, that's not safe.
At least safer than being based up by 2 orcs. It is certainly not safe. It's safer than being based up by 2 orcs.
Yes.
So you could have scored here, but then it's the same thing that we talked about earlier. Like, your down players, the orc only has 2 out. He had a bench of at least 1, and this KO it's a 50% chance of him being full strength, and you're not full strength. If you scored here, there's a chance of it working out, but you're also giving him
That's why he
4
regretted
turns
it.
to win.
Let me know when you get to the ghoul block.
Oh, Ghoul is dead.
Yeah.
Well, that's why. This is your Wrestle Ghoul too. can't skip it.
So I mean, I understand why he didn't tie it up. Tying it up at this point means it's likely he loses the game.
Yeah, but you also just lost your ghoul. But you can't have known that ahead of time.
Yeah, exactly. So it's easy to say, "Oh well, you idiot! You lost your goddamn ghoul. Nice stall, idiot." But like, that's not.
I would have stalled too. Like at this point, I'd play for the tie. You're already down players. I don't want to give the orcs who are up players and have an easier time bashing you, especially when they're up players, 4 turns to make it 2-1. I would definitely see if you could play for the tie here. Like stall it as long as humanly possible. Give the orcs the least amount of time to score they can. Worst case, it's way easier for you to like 2-turn than it is for him to 2-turn. So worst case, and you give him like 3 turns to try and score, and you happen to like steal it from him. You have movement 7 ghouls that can potentially take advantage of that. But if you give him enough turns to score, he will, and then you'll lose. Yeah, if only there were gutter runners. Although this is rough. With only one, like knockout rolls have not been good. That's another dead player. Yeah, I can't skip any of the like the knocked out animations or anything. We're just watching this replay as it is. I can do literally nothing to make it go faster.
It's a shame. I've paused and I'm reading the silliness that's happening in our 80 English chat. He is currently setting up rule of 5.
Yep.
Let me know when you get there.
He is doing that. He is switching around zombies and stuff. Okay, he is done setting up. The orcs are going. This is an orc kickoff, or like a kickoff to the orcs. You're down players to the orcs, sadly, so you've got to field your ball carrier ghoul. It's especially sad that you've lost. One ghoul is dead, another is injured. It only leaves you with 1, but as undead ghouls are big targets.
An Agi 4 Blodge Ghoul is his sacker now, because it turns out the ball carrier for the orcs doesn't have block yet. So
because orc thrower.
He makes a better sacker than the wrestle one did right now, at least.
That's true. I love the mummy kick animation. Wish I could skip the changing weather, pouring rain, but I can't.
That's awkward for both teams.
It really is.
It's less awkward for Morley because he's got all this Agi 4, weirdly enough.
He does have an Agi 4 ghoul. The orcs.
It's a very elfy undead team.
The orcs now become Agi 2, but with sure hands. That thrower is now a throw-ra.
Wait, why were your whites exposed to blitzes with zombies in the middle? Was that a positioning mistake?
I think he was doing it because armor or block versus the zombies don't have block, but the zombies would be less risky because now the whites are getting hit and one of them just got removed, which is certainly.
He's got enough mighty blow. That's effectively a blitz on armor 8, so you don't.
Or armor 7.
Or armor 7. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, I think he was relying on the block, but I think I would have put the zombies there. The zombies are expendable. The whites are less expendable.
Yeah, I mean, losing that Agi 4 white really stings when you're already down this many players.
Yeah.
He's given you nice black orcs to tie up, though, with this
mummy.
A zombie mummy combo.
You currently have a 2-die on that blockless black orc with the mummy, and then if you follow, you're tying up 3 black orcs with a guard mummy, which is kind of good.
He's going to take it, predictably.
Yep.
I mean, this guard mummy is going to get blocked, but...
I mean, that's fine. He's regen, armor 9. He's going to get blocked by non-mighty blow, non-block players, likely. And sadly, the white is blitzed. The white is based. But you can blitz with the ghoul on the tackle player.
I did on the mighty blow guy.
Either one. The 2 exposed blitzers. Yeah, so now you're basing up 3 black orcs with 1 mummy and a zombie, which is kind of a big win, especially when you're down players. And now you get to do a hit on the exposed blitzer. You get the stumbles, And you're now tying up both blitzers with one zombie, which is also good.
Probably wouldn't have rerolled that. Nah.
You're ahead again.
Reroll.
Like, remember, I can't skip anything.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
White dodge just happened.
Rerolls the white dodge.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have rerolled that either. The Black Orc is mostly irrelevant right now. He's only movement 4, and he's just gonna like tie you up again, but in a better position, which he does. And that was your last reroll. I don't know if I would have taken that reroll. The Orcs have to be pretty aggressive though, because they only have 2 turns, and they have to go the whole length of the pitch of the movement 5 guy. You could hand off to a blitzer or something, but as long as you get these zombies and ghoul screening, it's going to be at least a challenge to win. Another armor break. Just a stun though.
Stun is effectively a KO at this point.
Basically.
We should restart your client after this.
Yeah, I will.
As this makes replays significantly longer.
Certainly does, but I can't really do anything about it.
Oh, that's nice.
It is nice.
The stun, less so.
Still not a whole lot you can do here. I mean, you have a free ghoul, I guess. You blitz one of these guys and then just try to like screen up a little bit to make it hard for him to score. He's only got 2 turns, so at the end of this turn he has to put somebody in scoring range. And in order to do that with the thrower, he has to do a GFI, and he has no rerolls, so he probably wants to.
Probably gonna do it with the blitzer.
So he could hand off, but you don't get the free reroll with pass on a handoff because it's just a catch roll. And you've got it all. So I mean, I think what you do here as Orcs is blitz this white, like move the 2 blitzers forward to blitz the white out of the way, run the throw up as far as you possibly can, and then next turn you're going to have to hand off to a blitzer or do a GFI without a reroll to score. I mean, the GFI I guess is slightly less risky, but
GFI is less risky, but you could also turn it into 2 3+s, though the risk there is that like 2 chances at a 3+. The risk there is, of course, you fail and the ghoul snatches it. So
yeah, he's just going to go to the middle. It's essentially the same thing.
Yeah, and he's got a pseudo cage kind of thing going. So
it's the same deal. He's either going to have to do a handoff or a.
I don't like making that
or a GFI.
That 1 in 9 risk before you move this blitzer, though.
Yeah, that's a little scary.
Oh, he did it because he wants, but he's not screened off. Okay, yeah. So the ordering there was a little wrong.
So what do you like? What do you do now as morally? I mean, I think you hit the blitzer if you can, and then like so you blitz the blitzer with this ghoul, and if you can knock him over, you can then mark up the ball carrier with the ghoul.
So you got no rerolls.
But neither do the Orcs, and if you remove this scoring threat, then the thrower is going to have to dodge and. Oh,
this is a bit spicy.
Mummy blitz into a KO.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's no. Yeah.
I don't think that's what I would have gone for. I cannot skip it. It was worth a shot. The mummy blitz had the best chance of knocking over the ball, but you needed to do the GFI. I think what I would have done is
that was a double GFI.
What I would have done is probably tried to blitz the blitzer with the ghoul and then marked up the ball carrier. Like your ghoul's gonna get punched there, I guess, but you also have a chance of you'd have to make him either punch the ghoul or dodge.
This is when we pray for a tripwire, but I know.
He looks like he's gonna try to hand off rather than the tripwire.
No, he's just setting up a player next to him, I think, in case he drops it.
No.
Yeah.
It's the touchdown. Sadly for Morley, Hogstench pulls out the 2-1 win. Yeah, that was a close. It was surprisingly close. I can't skip the Orc cheerleaders now either, so I have to watch them.
So, I mean, I guess the one good news is that the dead lineman got MVP.
And the mummy got MVP, which is nice. He did manage to tie it, which was good. And he managed to stall for I think as long as he reasonably could. But if you could have like pulled off 1 or 2 more turns, That would have been
think-
so hard for the Orcs to win.
So I think the ghoul could have run to the corner and had been safe for at least another turn. I almost feel like after the the ghoul died, Morley might have just been like, "Oh shit, I have to score now to like stop this massacre." I have to go back and look, but I thought that the actually I can go back and look. There's a button. I feel like you could have stalled again.
While you do that, I'm going to restart my I'm going to try to restart my Blood Bowl client.
Force quit your Blood Bowl
I
client.
have to because my keyboard and mouse inputs just aren't doing anything to Blood Bowl, which is awful weird. So prepare for black screen for a second while I restart Blood Bowl. In fact, let's bring up this special fancy dual camera in large format. So that we don't spoil anything, because we're going to move on to a 9D match as well. And hopefully I can skip the animations this time. Yeah, it was certainly close, and I think Morley could have tied it, but it would have been really hard for him to win. You are not saying anything. I don't know if it's because you can't hear me again. Yep, certainly can't. Discord is being dumb. I don't understand what's going on. Do you like my song?
There was one lineman that you had to mark up, but other than that, it was perfectly free and safe.
Can you hear me again?
Yes, I can hear you. So I feel like you could have stalled that out and gotten the draw, but I get why you were hesitant to do so.
I restarted. I force quit Blood Bowl. And I can still not click on anything in Blood Bowl. I don't understand. I will try again.
Oh, could they not hear me through all of that?
They could hear you for most of it.
Good.
The part
You're
where
like entertain them, and then you cut my mic.
well, no, I was like entertain them, and then I tried to fix it and it didn't work, and then you couldn't hear me, so I cut your mic.
I could hear you. I just wasn't listening.
I'm sorry. This is amazing production value, but my computer has decided it just doesn't like me today. I don't understand. There we go. There we go. Okay, I can do things again. Great.
What are the team names for this one? Oh, wait, actually, I know. We're good. Is it American or Canadian armor? I'm gonna assume it's American.
What are we talking about?
Yes, it is American. The spelling of the team name.
Right. So the next game we are going to watch is the division rolled. Is we're going to watch a Chaos on Chaos game. We have no idea if this is good or not, but we like the look of it, considering this is Armor Furnace, a team that's been doing well so far, and Ladder Climbers, the rookie Chaos team that has been also doing well despite being rookies. So we want to see why they keep proving us wrong and winning, or at least seeing what their play is like.
This time I voted for them, or we voted for them, so that works out.
So let's see. We're going to check out how well these two Chaos teams play each other. And, we've done some Elfie games. I think this week is about Bash, Undead and Orcs, and then we'll do Chaos and Chaos. So I think it should be kind of interesting to watch. So we are going to take a look at that game. Yeah. And as far as I know, week 7 is just rolled for both of these divisions. So whenever you get your matches scheduled, and if you would like them casted, I'm not going to randomly cast them if you don't really want them casted. Feel free to message me or Shadorra your scheduled match times, and if we are around, we will certainly we will certainly try to cast them.
I see guess again. I'm not really sure what that's referring to. Oh, so are you in yet, by the way?
I am. I am watching them set up.
Okay.
So I will say goodbye to large us and say hello to small us. And here we are in the game with Armor Furnace versus Ladder Climbers.
So we have Armor Furnace here in the orange. In the teal, we have SSLO, who is in the chat. Slow, probably.
Slow.
A high
Make sure you
kick
add the
in the
extra
rain.
S.
Armor Furnace might have even decided to kick, given that it is raining and Chaos have no ball handling skills in Agi 3. So, who knows?
I just got the high kick.
Okay, I will hold on for a second.
Beastman is under the high kick and fails the catch.
Yeah.
But we move on to turn 1 for the Ladder Climbers, who have done well despite being like entirely rookie Chaos. Thunder again. A couple line blocks with the Chaos Warriors.
It's nice to get the block hits in. It's weird that he put Chaos Warriors on the line.
No, not really. I mean, it's on. You're on offense, and you're not hitting block players.
No, I meant that Armor Furnace put.
Oh, I see. Yeah. That is weird. Especially since they're not block.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have tried the pickup at this point, and I certainly wouldn't have re-rolled it. I would have done the blitz first and then done the pickup. The ball is super safe back here. You don't need to recover it one turn.
He didn't have an amazing blitz target though. But I mean, you might as well, especially as
you
Chaos.
You could have just blitzed a Beastman, whatever.
I mean, you're always going to be blitzing a Beastman basically. Like your targets are either Beastman or Warrior, and the Warrior is going to be a lot harder to remove. Yeah, I feel like he didn't have an amazing blitz target, so it's not the huge loss. But especially in Chaos versus Chaos, where whoever can get the upper hand first will win. Having that first blitz and just that chance of removing someone could make a difference.
Yeah, you also had a pretty tasty foul on this Chaos Warrior with 3 assists.
I think we're supposed to guess again at how to pronounce Slow's name. I don't think it's...
maybe that was what it was. No, I think he said that before, so I feel like it was more the fact that this game was interesting.
Oh, maybe. It might not be, but that's fine. I wanted to watch something that wasn't Elves, because we watched Elves last time.
We were looking at the High Elves versus someone.
Yeah.
We were like,
well, it's also 2 teams we've never looked at, right? So I'd like to get, if we can spread it out and try to get a look at teams that we haven't watched before, then we might as well, right? I think it's
for sure. Though we do owe the Cheeky Elves. No, we don't owe. We will give the Cheeky Elves a replay review at some point.
Yeah.
I do not like those GFIs either.
Neither do
don't
I.
need to make them. You're pretty screened off here.
Yeah, that was a little aggressive. I mean, you were fine going back to where you were. I think he was trying to get forward to make it more of like an official cage, sort of, but you didn't need to, right? You could have just kept him behind.
Which is something you see sometimes. People are overly fixated on making cages. That was a good screen. And
I do that too.
Risked a reroll, and it cost you a reroll. So
I am certainly guilty of like being obsessed with making the cage. And to be honest, against most teams, it doesn't really matter that much. It matters.
No, like this back player is useless. There's no one that can get around the Beastman.
The only times like worrying seriously about a full cage is being super important is against someone who can like threaten that cage very well with like strip ball wrestle kind of stuff, right? Like whether it's a war dancer or a gutter runner or something, then it becomes a lot more important. Because if you leave one corner off, then that's a huge opportunity for like a wrestle gutter runner to just run in and remove it. With a free like 1 die. Or potentially, depending on the skills and stuff.
So he's got a pretty good screen set up here. He's got you really penned in.
Rookie Chaos, like mostly Rookie Chaos versus mostly Rookie Chaos is kind of funny because there's so many blockless blocks.
Yeah, lots of 1 in 9 risks.
I like it. It's fun.
Oh, armor break.
Uh-oh.
Just a stun.
Chaos Warrior on Chaos Warrior action. You Chaos players are so spoiled with your Movement 5, Agility 3 Chaos Warriors.
This is the Urgle player.
I know, I'm saying they're spoiled. Because they have
That
agility
guy
3
is
and movement
the
5.
Despoiler of orcs, so.
Deflowerer of orcs. In fact, he...
Ugh,
Watch
I'm
out, orc...
uncomfortable with that on a variety of levels.
Watch out, orc cheerleaders. Taug is coming for you.
Well, one die.
I mean, there's going to be a lot of them when there's this, like, 8 beastmen versus 8 beastmen. Or 7 beastmen. I can math. And none of them have block yet, right? Armor Furnace has got a block, or a Mighty Blow beastman. Oh, armor breaks. Nothing yet. One of these, like, I feel very much like this is going to be really snowbally, right? There's going to be a lot of, like, grindy blocks against each other for a bit, and then eventually someone's armor is going to break, and that's going to give a little bit of an advantage to the other team, and then that just snowballs further and further.
Yeah, I mean, that's how most pitch control matchups work. Pitch control mirrors work. Like, Blizzard mirrors are the same thing.
Well, especially when it's rookie chaos versus rookie chaos, though. Like, 1 is going to make such a big difference, especially if it's one of the, like, 2 or 3 block pieces that are on the field. Armor Furnace does have 1 block beastman, and he has a Mighty Blow beastman. But there are 2 block Chaos Warriors as opposed to only 1 for ladder climbers. This is a super safe cage, but it's also a really hard to get by screen. So we're playing the dwarf game now, where we just sort of punch each other in the face a lot. You can get a blitz on this beastman. Oh yeah, the one he's going for. So there you go. And then at least mark up. Then you're marking up 2 players with a Chaos Warrior, which is okay. He's gonna get hit probably, but he has block, and it's only gonna be a 1 or a 1 die currently, unless you want to try to dodge out with that beastman. So yeah, I like what ladder climbers are doing here. This is probably what I would do too, is just like throw your people at him, and if you can get a removal, or if you can get slightly more favorable blocks than him, you'll win, especially since he's on defense and
So that
his
was an
blocks are low.
unassisted armor 9 foul. I wouldn't have made that.
Not punished, but no, I don't like that foul. But you're probably slightly more likely to get beneficial blocks for you if you're on defense. Ooh, double skulls. There goes a reroll. It's quite a chain push.
Pushing a lot of prone players around.
Yeah, you're more likely to get beneficial blocks while you're on offense than defense, because defense you kind of want to just prevent them from progressing forward. You don't really want to get too involved or give away too many free blocks. So you have a bit of an advantage
Furnace
there.
is doing a good job getting his blocks in where he can.
Yep.
So.
And he's doing a good job of making them hard for the attacking
follow,
chaos. I don't. Well, with this, I don't like it unless this chain push works, which it does. And now you're mostly safe.
I mean, you're still gonna get 2 died by this Chaos Warrior.
Yes. But it's only 1 2-die block that you're giving away, and by having him there, it makes almost all of the other ones that you're gonna do 1 dies, other than like the Beastman Blitz because horns. But that like doesn't break you a hole at all, and now all your players are just sort of stuck in a giant pile, and nobody has guard yet, so that makes it a bit more difficult.
Oh, dub skulls.
Oh well, I haven't seen that yet. There it is. Reroll. There's been a lot of dub skulls in these last 2 games, like a surprising number of dub skulls.
Oh, I think by moving that player up, he's exposed the ball to a blitz. He has, yes. Oh, but Armor Furnace chooses to keep the pressure on instead.
Yep. Tying up all of these players, rather than like if you just blitz the ball, the guy that you blitz with is now ludicrously exposed, and it doesn't really gain you anything. Whereas, oh, there goes the last reroll. Or no, that was the second last reroll. Whereas doing this, like he has no options. Ladder climbers can't go anywhere, and that's fine, right? If you just don't let him score, or even don't let him score for like 1 more turn, because then suddenly he has to do really risky things to move forward. And if he tries them, then you can probably recover. Whereas if you just cage dive the ball at this point, it just exposes a player.
Last turn I would have tried to switch sides. He's a little too caught. Like, there's no way he's going to get out here reasonably.
No,
he's
I don't
gonna
think
do that now.
It's too late now. You only have 3 turns left, really. And you don't have a good way of opening a hole. There's two players in the way, kind of. You do get an armor break. It's a potentially good stun. Although these 2 beastmen placed here by Armor Furnace is good, because it does not leave a hole. He would needed to have knocked over both the Chaos Warrior and Schlag Eats Carpet. To actually get through the center here. And he could only knock over 1 because they weren't based.
Though he's now left his ball exposed.
Yes.
Quite straightforwardly.
Yeah, this is armor break. KO. First removal of this game. Hopefully it doesn't spiral too much out of control. It's only a KO, so that's the start. But yeah, this is you block. Well, now it's even more exposed, really. I don't think I would have followed that. If you didn't follow that block, he was more in a position to stop people from blitzing the ball.
Well, lucky pushes saved slow.
Yeah, you needed to knock over that chaos. Like, if he hadn't followed, you would have needed to knock him over. You could have blitzed him there. It just wasn't a great blitz, and I don't really think you needed to risk it. Like, your opponent has 2 turns to score and he hasn't crossed his own half yet. I think you're not too worried about that. You don't need to be risky on the ball.
Now see here, I think he's actually made a bit of a mistake.
I'm a little surprised he hasn't been blitzing with the Mighty Blow player more.
Agreed.
On the one hand, you have a Mighty Blow advantage because your opponent doesn't have it. So if you can remove players, you suddenly become much more favored to win this kind of matchup, and he just hasn't really been utilizing it a lot.
He's also doing GFIs with no reroll, and it punished. You could have punched a hole through the middle here, which I think was the way to do this.
Yeah, there was 2, the Beastman and that Chaos Warrior. If you could remove them.
The way through, yeah.
And so you had a blitz to remove one of them.
And yeah,
definitely not scoring. Technically, the ball is once again blitzable.
Doesn't matter now, though. I mean,
no,
I guess you could. Could you get someone in scoring position?
You have 2 turns.
Yeah.
You could.
You could get Ragnar or whatever. Ragnagor.
No. Oh, there you go. Spend the reroll to knock to remove the ball. Totally worth it because your opponent cannot score now.
They couldn't score before either, so there's no one in scoring range.
Well, I mean, he couldn't score, so it's okay to use the reroll because if it fails, it doesn't matter. Yeah. So you get Ragnagor within scoring range. But see if you can. You could try to pick up the ball, because like if you don't now, I think I would have potentially tried to pick up the ball, because if you don't now, your opponent is going to stand up players, and then it's going to be way harder to actually pick it up next turn.
That's in the rain though. That's a 5+.
It is, but next turn is going to be a 6+, and if you fail to pick it up, who cares,
you can
right?
Scatter it though. Like if you fail to pick it up, I guess. Right.
If like, I mean, you could, but if you fail to pick it up now, it doesn't matter.
The problem with this is, no, I guess either way, he was just going to hit the only scoring threat. So
yeah, either way, it was incredibly unlikely that you score there, but I think it was a better option to try and pick up the ball than to just mark it. If you fail, maybe it scatters slightly better. He's going to blitz the ball carrier anyway. You just need to hope it doesn't work.
Yeah, either way, Armor Furnace is pretty happy with this result.
Yeah, I mean, it's just greed at this point, right? It's if something works, that's bonus. If it doesn't, whatever, you're going into your half tied 0-0.
Again, that's actually a negative assist foul.
I don't think it works that way.
It's got 1 assist in the corner.
But that works out.
Yeah, no, that's a really good foul.
It wasn't like a good foul in terms of chances of working, but by God, did it pay off?
Yeah, it was a 2-assist foul with 1 anti-assist, so it was a 1-assist foul, I think, which is very lucky that you. Let's see the dice log.
Well, the anti-assist doesn't do anything. It just stops.
Yes, it actually subtracts. If you have a player on your fouling player with no tackle zones on the opposing player, he provides a negative point to your foul.
I suppose that's never occurred for me before. Thankfully, it's at least Appoed, because that's your Mighty Blow Chaos Warrior, and you'd like to keep him alive. Yeah. Appoed into joining the substitutes, which is nice, but that's some SPP, and that's if that had happened 5 turns earlier, maybe you could have scored. But happening on turn 8, it only helps in terms of wasting his Appo. Well, not wasting, but using his Appo. So like he doesn't have an Appo going into the second half, so removals are more likely to stay out. Is the advantage, I guess. But if that had happened so many more turns earlier, it would have been way better for you. 2 wake-ups and 2 wake-ups. So even, but one player has more players out. So the ladder climber is going to be down a Chaos Warrior, sadly, going into their defense. Yeah, once again, you put the Chaos Warriors in the line, or so far anyway, he might switch them, but I suppose when nobody has guard, it suddenly becomes a lot more difficult to actually get those blocks.
Not when you have Strength 4 pieces. I mean, just need 1 assist, right?
Strength 4 on Strength 4, but yeah, you put 3. If you put your 3 Chaos Warriors in the center and 1 Beastman on one of the corners, you can, or like other way around. I mean, like a Beastman on a guy and you get some Mighty Blow
hits here. So
yeah. On the one hand, you're dedicating all of your Chaos Warriors to this. On the other hand, you get to punch all his Chaos Warriors for free. It's armor 9, but it's a free block, so.
Well, with one of the hits, it's armor 8, and he's got a blitz on a Beastman, which is suddenly armor 7. So.
Yeah, because he does have the extra armor or the extra Mighty Blow piece. Well, that's not. Well,
pretty low impact pitch invasion, really.
I guess it's neutral. I mean, on the one hand, you lost your block on one of the Chaos Warriors by 2 of your Chaos Warriors going down. On the other hand, one of the Chaos Warriors also went down. So that doesn't really result in anything. At least you didn't lose your Mighty Blow hit.
Armor Furnace got really lucky there because Slow has... Slow is Armor Furnace. I'm beginning this backwards. That's what it is.
Yes. Just a push. But here
Slow
comes
did
the
get
Mighty
lucky
Blow
there
Blitz.
because the other Chaos actually has +1 fame. So that was much... that should have been much harsher.
And the Mighty Blow doing a thing in breaking armor. Just a stun, but this is like the Mighty Blow advantage is huge here, I think, right? You want to maximize those Mighty Blow blocks. And the fact that, yes, your opponent has a little bit more block. Or at the start of the game he did. Now one of his block Chaos Warriors is out, which is really bad for him. But you have, if you can pull off 2 Mighty Blow hits a turn, where he's going to get 0, that's... the +1s make a difference, man.
Mm-hmm. He's basing all mans.
Basing all the mans.
Not sure why he blitzed the rookie one and not the... I guess he's trying to punch a hole so he can go after the ball. But I would have hit the Mighty Blow one. Oh, injury, though.
Yeah. The Mighty Blow one is scarier, but this gives you the option to just charge a few Beastmen through, especially since most of the players are based. I would stand up this Chaos Warrior, though, before you roll anything weird. Because that's free, and you want to base up that Chaos Warrior. And if you probably want to base up, or at least screen, to prevent that one of the Chaos... Because this is an easy Chaos Warrior blitz into marking the 2 guys that are going after the ball. And then you can just move the Beastmen up to the right and screen off with these Beastmen. You move the Beastmen and screen with Beastmen. Chaos, if only he had more positionals. But you know what I mean.
I don't like this aggressive push. Like, he actually had quite a few free players. He can pretty easily get on top of this, and suddenly your defensive players are tied up while he gets free Mighty Blow hits.
It's... I don't like how he did it. I like the idea of it, but I don't like how he implemented it.
Rewarded with
punished.
Injury. Well, yeah, it depends on how you look at it, I suppose.
That's why Mighty Blow on Chaos early. I mean, it's risky, but if you can get the removals, it's risky against teams that are more taking Mighty Blow first on Beastmen and stuff is risky in terms of winning against teams that are more that are better early, like anything that has a lot more block or whatever, like Dwarves or Undead, Necromantic, anybody that starts with block. Becomes a lot more risky, but in matchups like this where nobody has block, the Mighty Blow makes such a huge difference because you win by, getting a player advantage. Yep, plus, sure. It levels them quicker, right? It's great in that way. But it's kind of the thing that we've talked about in a lot of the reviews where, if you take Mighty Blow first, you kind of hope to get lucky. And if you do, it's great. And if you don't, well, you might not win. But if you get lucky, it both levels your players and will help you win games. So.
He gets a nice hit on a Mighty Blow player here.
Less consistent, but still good.
Plus, it's just fun to kill people.
Certainly, that's why you play Chaos, right?
Some people play stupid Agi Leap Chaos thing, like Mutation Chaos. Mutations other than Claw.
I like the. I'm gonna take mutations other than Claw eventually. The next level on my my ball carrier, if it isn't Agi, is going to be extra arms.
Oh, that was good. That was a smart. The red die wasn't smart. I would have dodged.
The dodge isn't. I don't have a good dodge though. That's a 4+.
Yeah, no, I guess.
Or 5+ in most directions.
Stood there and taken the block.
Yeah, I mean.
It sucks, but the red die.
And this is very much where we see the snowball that we were talking about, right? Like you remove a player or two, and suddenly it becomes way easier for the other team to get 2 dies rather than just 1s because you're down a player, you're down 2 players, and they have the extra ones, and then it snowballs, right? And that's the Mighty Blow advantage, I think.
Yeah, and like the Teal Chaos overcommitted to this left-hand side by like pushing up through in a way that was pretty easy to tie up. So now their players are fairly committed.
Yeah, and they're kind of stuck.
Armor Furnace is just going to run down this side with a good screen, and there's not a lot you can do about it.
Yeah, he's going to get to the end. He's going to stall out to turn 16, and he'll probably make it 1-0. Because he's removed players, but only one of them is actually an injury.
Oh, that was a reroll for a hit on this guy.
So you don't want to score early because you're giving a chance for your opponent to wake up, and you don't need to give it to them.
Is he doing something dumb now?
No, he's just
this guy free. Oh, but he 1-9'd it.
No block on either side. If that worked out, he could have based the ball, I guess, but that guy would have just gotten blitzed by someone else. Probably the block beastman.
Yeah, but he rerolled for a punch on Lee Leeson, which he didn't need which he didn't need to do that blitz. He just wanted a hit on the Mighty Blow player so that he wasn't basing up with Mighty Blow, but
yeah,
punished for a greedy reroll.
Basically, it's especially when you don't have block though. Like when your team is this inconsistent, like early Chaos is, you need those rerolls for the 1-9s for those weird blocks and stuff. It's really really risky to greed reroll stuff. You can afford to do it a lot more later. Greed reroll for knockdowns to get injuries and stuff, but like once you're leveled. Right now, it's so dangerous to do to greed reroll because then stuff like this happens, right?
This is a pretty secure cage.
Yeah, one corner is based up, but he's got a block on it, so it doesn't really matter.
And even if one of the players got knocked down, that's still a cage, so it doesn't matter.
Yep. Super safe here. Totally in the hands of Slow and Armor Furnace. I like the name Armor Furnace. I don't really know where it came from or if that's a reference I'm missing or something, but I really like the I don't know if there's a theme that I'm missing, but I just like the name Armor Furnace. It seems very chaosy to me, I think it's a good name. Armor Furnace. Yeah. So you're blitzing off a corner of the cage, which is kind of a typical thing to do in this situation. But with the kind of control your opponent currently has, it's going to be difficult for you to to maintain that. Like right now, this beastman that's on the ground can just do a 2-die blitz on that beastman that is marking the cage. Just stand up blitz. It's no block, but you have a reroll still, and removing that guy that's on the ball or just pushing him away means you can run to space. Knockout, yeah. The attrition begins. The snowballing begins. You want to maximize the Mighty Blow hits too if you can. You can also do it with the Chaos Warrior, which is what he does. But now you can just run these guys off. Yeah, see, that's good. Make sure you move the free stuff before you do the blocks, right? He moved that Chaos Warrior because it was after the blitz, and he used it to mark up the guy.
Injury on a Chaos Warrior.
Ooh, that's not nice. Is it a serious injury, or is it just badly hurt? At least you're not losing any players or anything. But yeah,
the Mighty Blow doing work.
Mighty Blow, man. Like,
actually, no, that wasn't Mighty Blow. That was a 10 into a 10. So
I mean, it doesn't really matter. The point still stands that like the Mighty Blow advantage in this matchup is going to make it more likely to snowball in your favor, and it is now snowballing hard in the side of one Chaos team. I mean, I said that on like turn 3, right? Like this is going to snowball on one team's side or the other, and you can see it.
It's usually the one who gives up more blocks. It turns out.
Yep, and it is now snowballing in favor of Armor Furnace and Slow pretty strongly.
Yep. I think soon we'll call this. I don't think we need to watch this out to the end. I think I can't imagine a comeback from this point. You're outnumbered, and
that's true.
And that's a turnover right there. So I don't know. He's got a reroll.
No, I'd like to. I mean, I want to see when they score, but I mean, if it's very clearly a stall, we can just skip a turn or whatever. There's only a few turns left.
Yeah, we still have to do the div reviews, and it's 10 p.m.
Yeah, I know. Well, we started.
Your technical difficulties kind of cost us some time.
We started late. We started like an hour late.
Yeah, and then there were issues, so.
Yeah. Yeah, just gonna stall, do some blocks.
Yep, he's perfectly safe. I don't see how this could possibly go wrong. He's just gonna hit as many things as he could.
Right, I will skip to the next turn.
I would stop standing my players up at this point.
I'm just gonna skip to the end of it, I think. Ladder climbers are gonna stand up some players, and I don't think a whole lot is gonna happen.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just gonna be stalls for a bit. I don't think any an exciting injury or something can happen. Speaking of armor breaks, nope, just a stun.
There were no more injuries.
Nope. All right, well, I'll just skip through these turns a little bit, in the sake of brevity.
Can the Chaos one turn with half a team?
No.
Spoiler, no.
You need a full team to do a movement 6, one turn. Okay, we'll continue to skip through. There we go. So, well, we missed the touchdown dance, but that's okay. There will be some block attempts on the side of ladder climbers. Well, on the one hand, I mean, yeah, like the last 4 turns or so weren't that particularly interesting, but that's gonna happen.
It was some good technical chaos on chaos play.
Yeah,
like,
I mean that's gonna happen for the last few turns, right? Half number 2 just started snowballing, and then once it's snowballing, there's not a whole lot ladder climbers can really do about it. So it's a good play, definitely, on the part of Slow and the armor furnace. Beastman gets MVP, which is not amazing, but it levels him. Oh, and he picked. I clicked on the Beastman, and he rolled doubles, and he picked jump up, which is kind of funny.
Going for that killer dedication early on.
I mean, I guess the downside is that's 30k TV that gives you literally nothing right now.
No, I mean jump up isn't worthless.
No, I don't like taking jump up as a first skill. I would have probably just taken dodge and then allowed him to become like a mobile guard or something.
Yeah, but you're a trash chaos coach, so.
That's true.
What do you know?
All right, so let's take a look at 9D and the results. I suppose I should probably pull up what our predictions were so that we can talk about them.
Oh, I've got them right here. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I've got them on paper.
Perfect. So, Buff Get Bills, Strats Rats, was that a buy, or is that the real one? You're too slow at this.
Buff Get Bills versus Drats Rats. That was a real game, but it was resolved as a concede.
Okay.
I'm guessing the Buff Get Bills couldn't play because of real life issues or something like that.
Right. So we didn't actually make a prediction for that one.
We
right?
did. We predicted the Orcs would win, but that was
yeah.
in the understanding that it was a real game. So we'll call that a null result because we're generous to ourselves.
Well, both the MVPs that you gained from the concede one went to Gutter Runners, which is certainly really good.
Yep.
They're both pending levels, though, so it's hard to say.
We're not looking at
those.
teams anyway. Don't worry about it.
I just wanted to, if it would have leveled them, so I wanted to see if they got anything. Foul targets 4-0 against the Las Vegas Lizard Gizzards, so that's a thing that happened.
We did predict the Wood Elves would win, and they won in spectacular fashion. So,
yeah,
with a War Dancer MVP. Oh, but the plus movement skink also got an MVP and leveled. So now he is one push away from a natural one turner.
He picked up really block.
Nice. Oh, he doubled.
Yep.
Huh.
He picked up.
Yeah, I mean, so now that player is utility is really useful beyond one turn attempts, and is still fairly useful for one turning. I can see why he picked up block.
A lot of SPP went to foul targets elves, but I feel like a lot of them are ones. I think it's a lot of passing.
Yep.
The ball spent a lot of time on the ground during this game. The Lizards had the ball for 6% of the time, and the Wood Elves had the ball for 37% of the time. So the ball was mostly on the pitch rather than in the hands of a player, which I think is interesting.
I'm not really sure how the ball possession calculation works. I don't think it counts as ball possession if you pick it up and score in the same turn, which is kind of the Wood Elf MO.
Yes, but still, like this game looks like it was solidly in the hands of the Wood Elves. Like the Lizards inflicted a bunch of blocks, a few KOs, an injury, but like 5 passes, 5 catches, 4 TDs, 120 yards running. That was, I think, solidly in the hands of the Wood Elves.
Needless to say. CR boys, if you're talking about not wrestle on skinks, you can turn a skink into a bit of a sacker, but every skill they need to be a good sacker is a double.
It's very hard to do.
Other than stunty and dodge, which of course they start with. So block is by far the best double to take.
Or sure hands, but
sure
block.
Hands is after a couple of block, even because block is always useful. Sure hands is only useful against strip ball.
So. Okay, and the redeemed Dark Elves versus Here Goes Nothing. I think we predicted Dark Elves because that's Dark Elves versus Goblin.
Yeah, Dark Elves with 2 assassins versus goblins. We definitely predicted.
Yeah. 4 injuries inflicted. I wonder if those were because of the assassins.
Though 3 injuries inflicted by the goblins.
What are the assassins' names? I don't.
Once
remember.
again, the goblins appear to have cast themselves. Jesus, the Dark Elves got 5, 10, 15, 20, 26 SPP.
I want to know what the assassins' names were. Mercurial's cousin and Mortrid are the assassins.
Yeah, they're the M ones.
So they did not actually gain any of SPP of their own. You don't get SPP from stabs, do you?
You do. Yes.
Do you?
They just failed both stabs. They made 2 stab rolls all game. And they failed both.
So there was a lot of casualties on the hand of the Dark Elves, but none of them were from stabs, which is interesting to me, because he plays with those assassins so strongly. But yeah,
would you like to know what shadowing rolls are called in the dice log?
What?
Thwart shadowing.
Thwart shadowing?
Yeah, it's a thwart shadowing roll.
It is thwart shadowing, 0%.
You learn something new every day.
Well, because you're trying to prevent the shadowing, right? I guess it's like thwart tentacles would also be a thing. Voodoo tied 1-1 versus the Cheeky Elves.
That was the other one we were considering watching, by the way, and maybe we should have, but we had done an elf game, an elfy game recently, so we wanted to do something a little different.
Yep, and we wanted to do more. We wanted to focus on Bash this week because last week was mostly elf stuff.
It's true.
So what
Looks
did
like
we
a pretty
predict?
even
What did we
game.
predict here?
We predicted we actually split. I predicted
There you go.
the Dark Elves, and you predicted the High Elves.
So can we call this a win? Because
I call that a win.
I like it. We're good at this. Maybe we both predicted opposite teams, and it turns out they just tie. Perfect.
Yeah.
Um,
Looks like a pretty even game. Exactly the same number of blocks. The one team the Cheeky Elves got 4 KOs, and the Voodoo got literally nothing for it.
the High Elves outbashing the Dark Elves is surprising, considering High Elves have 2 Blitzers and the Dark Elves have 4. I don't think Voodoo actually does have 4 Blitzers, but the Dark Elves can have 4 Blitzers.
The Voodoo is the kind of battered, and actually he's out-armored by High Elves, because High Elves are entirely armor 8, and I think he's got a couple of Witch Elves and things like that. So, but still, a good result for Voodoo. I think he was the one with the really battered team who's having a bit of a rough time, so good start for sure. Next up is Ladder Climbers vs. Armor Furnace, which we'll skip. It was a 1-0 for Armor Furnace, as we just discovered. And then there's a bye, and finally Union United versus Kislev of the Royalton Circus. We actually streamed this game, so we know it was a 2-1 victory.
We did,
tough game for the Kislev. They got a little unlucky. They had a chance at the end to kind of maybe take the ball away, and it didn't work out.
There was a couple weird moments that could have been played a little bit better by either team, I think, but it was good. That should be in a previous broadcast somewhere if you care about watching it. If you really care about watching it, I mean, I could probably put it on YouTube or something, but I doubt I'm going to go through the effort unless somebody says, please do. So if you want these things up, let me know and I can do it. But then you're also committing to saying you'll watch them. Haha.
Yep.
Views.
Sweet ad revenue. Oh,
yeah, I get 0 from YouTube currently.
Actually, the Buffkit Bills appear to have left the league. They are no longer a team. So that's that.
I get 0 from YouTube. I am not even remotely close to any sort of partnership.
Of course.
Although I do get things from Twitch, so I appreciate any support here, but it's not even remotely necessary. Yeah, it was a good game. I enjoyed watching it. So it's on the Twitch past broadcast somewhere if you'd like to see it. So do we want to look at the next week / leaderboard for this division?
Let's look at for in terms of predictions, we were 100% other if we don't count the null.
Or the draw.
Furnace would win and that the Pro Elves would win, which were both true.
The draw is more debatable as well.
It's true, but I make the rules here, so I say we were correct across the board.
It's my stream and I make the rules.
If you don't like it, you can get out.
Okay, so let's take a look at what's coming up next week.
I backed out of the division, predictably.
Step 1 is Drat's Rats versus the Average Rice Joes.
Lizards versus rats.
Yeah, so it's the lizard team that doesn't have super well developed Saurus yet versus the mostly rookie rat team. They did get 2 gutter runner levels, but they haven't rolled them yet. So I'm not sure what they'll go for there.
That can normally go either way at this stage. You don't have the attrition tools to really deal with the lizards. Your linemen are going to get punched pretty efficiently and pretty brutally. The storm vermin can do work against the skinks. And you can get a gutter runner now with Wrestle, which you absolutely should. And you can do some cage diving nonsense using Wrestle to take down skinks or even block, because the skinks are going to block.
With not knowing what those gutter runner levels are makes this a lot harder. But I feel like it's probably. I think I'm probably going to go with the lizards on this one, without knowing what those gutter runner levels are. Because with only 1 level, it can't make that much of a difference, and you don't really have the storm vermin tuned up yet.
Yeah, and you've got 1 lizard with Mighty Blow who's going to do a lot of work. I agree. Lizards, though I don't think it's strongly in the lizard's favor.
No, it's like a 60-40 thing, I think. But if I have to pick a team, I would pick lizards. Royalton Circus
you do have to pick. That is literally the point of this broadcast.
Yep. Royalton Circus and Armor Furnace.
Armor Furnace. He's been proving himself to be a really solid Chaos Coach. He's starting to get the tools. He's got the Mighty Blow, which is really good against Kislev. It turns them into Armor 7, which is a huge...
And that Kislev team doesn't have any block yet, so the greedy taking Mighty Blow first is going to pay off a lot there, because there isn't really any block available on the Kislev team yet. I would agree and say that I think I would predict Armor Furnace and the Chaos team. Union United and Cheeky Elves. So that's the Elven Union team and the High Elf team. So
they're both actually doing pretty well. I haven't looked at the teams, and I don't want to, because in the spirit of our game, we're not doing that. Or this week, I should say, for development. I think one of the teams has tackle, though. I think the Pro Elves have tackle.
I mean, I can tell you they have a tackle blitzer, yeah. But the High Elves don't really have much in the way of dodge. It doesn't really matter.
It's true.
They have one dodge player in the catcher. It's the High Elf team that took the 2 throwers and the leader and like all the wrestle and dirty player, like the frenzy.
I would
blitzer.
normally give this to High Elves simply because they have armor 8. They're gonna lose. They're not gonna do super well versus the Pro Elves in like the passing game, but in terms of long-term attrition, which these games often go down to because elf mirrors, they can keep up with each other. There's often a lot of bashing. The armor is going to make a lot of a difference. So I would give this to the High Elves.
I don't know.
I'm sorry, quick draw. Are you in chat?
It's really hard.
Are you mad?
Like, I was going to say I was going to say Elven Union until you mentioned the armor, and I was like, oh yeah, that's true. Especially since the Cheeky Elves have kind of built themselves around wrestling and fouling and stuff, with only armor 7 and that many like dirty players in wrestle. It's weird that's why I like the High Elves, but I think that's why I like the High Elves for this one.
Yeah, the only thing that they don't have is tools to deal with dodge, but the Pro Elves only have 3 dodge pieces, so it's not that serious.
Goblins get a bye week, so we will skip that one. But make a note of that so that I can put it in the description. Ladder climbers.
I don't put it in the predictions usually.
And I know, but I do. So if you copy paste me like the predictions and then that line is just bye week, that makes it easier for me. Ladder climbers and Las Vegas lizard gizzards. So the ladder climbers are the chaos we just saw. And the Las Vegas lizard gizzards are unsurprisingly a lizard team. They're the one.
Unless the lizard gizzards have sustained a lot of injuries and
which they have not.
Lost lizards. I mean, early on, both teams are control teams, and lizards are just better at control than rookie chaos.
They also have more development, and they now have 2 block skinks, which is kind of good.
That's funny.
Yeah, they have 2 block skinks, which is more block than that chaos team has, I think, or it's the same amount actually. So I think I want to give that to lizards as well. Then Voodoo versus Buffkit Bills. Unfortunately, Buffkit Bills have left the league, so that's a bye for Voodoo. And we have what I think would be a fun match: the Foul Targets, the Wood Elf team, versus the Redeemed Dark Elves, the double assassin stab nonsense Dark Elf team.
We always say we're like, oh man, this could be so much fun, because basically every game with assassins is fun. So we just end up watching all of what's his name?
So the Moya.
Yeah, we end up watching all of Moya's games.
So on the one hand, one of the assassins is MNG'd.
And it's the best one.
On the other hand, the Agi 5 War Dancer is also MNG'd.
Although he's also got a tackle piece that's MNG'd, so he has only 1 tackle piece for next game.
Yeah.
Though it's his blitzer, who he would likely be making the blitzes on War Dancers with anyway. So.
This is a game that could matter. They're both near the top of the table. With like going this hard into the assassin game plan, but being down an assassin, I think will make the stabs not very impactful.
Yeah, but also you mostly like it for the shadowing versus these guys, but Wood Elves have more movement than you do, so shadowing is less likely to work.
I think I want to give it to the Wood Elves on this one. Sorry,
Yeah, I agree.
sorry, Dark Elves. I love your team. I don't want to watch more of it, but I think the first place Wood Elves will have an easier time dealing with your assassins than you think they will.
Agreed.
So if we look at the leaderboard, we can see that, in fact, the foul targets, the Wood Elves, are in first place with 5 wins, although the Cheeky Elves are 1 point behind them with 4 wins and 2 draws. So it's very close. The Redeemed Dark Elves are still up there with 4, and Armor Furnace is up there with 4 as well. We're separating a little bit here. Average Rice Joes are still pretty close because they have no losses. But the 5 wins is a big deal at this point. It's going to be pulling away quite a bit compared to the other matches.
Yeah, it's true.
Considering wins are worth 3. The Elven Union team isn't out yet, but it's going to be hard. And below that, it's kind of your playoff dreams are not exactly good ones. So we can move on to Division E, and we'll take a look at what happened last week. Sierra Boys Giant Stags had a bye week. Komodo Killers had a bye week. So not much to talk about there. But we had Gods of Metal versus One Cheese. So what did we predict there? If I recall correctly, it was Skaven.
Human versus Skaven?
Yep.
We predicted Skaven.
Skaven 1-2-1. So well done us.
The
Alignment.
Wood Elves were supposed to be playing Goblins, but I think there must have been a drop.
They're playing against Spa bye week.
It was Bloodstained, but they are now no longer in the league, so it looks like they've dropped. It was unresolved, and it was Bloodstained earlier, so I think they dropped from the league.
Sadly, 9E seems to, like, 9D and 9E have had a lot of rotating door players. It seems we've had a bunch of subs and a bunch of people that are dropping out, and it's a little sad, but
yeah, I mean, as a college admin, I know that feel.
Yeah, and it happens in the lowest divisions generally. People, will play a couple games with their TV 1000 team. It doesn't work out the way they want, and they'll just say, "Screw it, I'll drop and don't play anymore." It's a little sad, but it happens.
This game's not for everybody. So yeah,
even versus
we
humans.
predicted the Skaven was human. We predicted the Skaven would beat the humans, which they did. We heard that was a good game, but we had watched the Gods of Metal recently, so we didn't. So we'll try to check out one of One Cheese's games
at some point.
Sometime soon.
Yeah, we just don't want to repeat too many of the same people, so that we can try to get everybody a little bit of coverage.
Hey Ben,
hello.
Would you like to guess what our prediction for Friendship is Massacre versus the Snot Knockaz was?
Was it me predicting Friendship is Massacre and you predicting the Snot Knockaz?
It was.
Yeah.
I win.
Certainly do.
I'm the best. I'm sorry.
I was still looking at the One Cheese game, but it seems very very typical Skaven, right? Like they had less ball possession than the Gods of Metal did, so it's a steal the ball, go score. 0% occupation of their own half, which is miraculous. So it's like they didn't even score on their own drive potentially because they never had the ball on their own half. Which
again,
is
I don't know how ball possession works as a calculation. I think it's kind of bizarre. There's also a pass, so
three injuries inflicted. Well, it was like maybe they picked it up in their half and passed it to someone in the opponent's half.
So both sides sustained 3 KAs and both sides inflicted 3 KAs. So it was a pretty brutal game for punching.
4 KOs on the side of the Gods of Metal though, but that's humans versus Skaven. They were gonna humans will outpunch the Skaven, but the Skavens didn't get outpunched enough to lose.
Yep, a lot of SPP on both sides actually. Good game. Looks like it was a lot of fun.
We watched Friendship is Massacre and Snot Knockaz, so we don't really need to go over that. However, you are winning on predictions, yeah. Oh no. If I recall correctly though, was that the one that I was like, I would like to flip a coin?
I mean, you always say that because
no, I think that was the Dwarves and High Elves.
Yeah.
Broke anyway.
Khemri versus Necro. We said Khemri would win, and they did.
2-0. It's like we're good at this or something. Almost good at it.
We just predict the division winners to keep winning, so we're really banking on the
statistics. Zombie MVP is not particularly nice, but it is countered by a skeleton MVP, so I guess everything works out. 2 KOs inflicted. The Broken Boys were broken more than the Chew Toys were, in fact. They took more KOs and more injuries than the other team. Not unsurprising when most of your linemen are armor 7. But as the Khemri, I mean, you're trying to outstrength them and outpush. But I feel like they did that. They had the ball in control more often at the time. So it was likely a kind of a typical Broken Boys control style game, which we've watched. We've seen him. We've watched one of his games before, and he seems to know well how to position Tomb Guardians to sort of maximize the Strength 5 annoyance. Like his positioning in his control game is pretty good, certainly, which is why he's winning games as Khemri this early.
Yep. Though it looks like he had some bad luck, given that he had 59 blocks and only 2 KOs and 1 injury. So maybe some shenanigans there with the dice.
And Liverful versus Archangel's Will is Dwarves versus Wood Elves. And what did we say there?
We said Wood Elves, so we're
wrong. 1-0. But like we were wrong, but it was a close game apparently because it was 1-0. So we can at least take solace in that.
All dwarf victories are 1-0. That's just how dwarves work.
Shh, I'm trying to make us look better.
The dwarves had 19 armor breaks,
and 1 expulsion.
19 armor breaks on 30 blocks.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know how many of that was foul. Like, it could have been fouls.
You want to know what's awesome? Is that the runner got MVP. You should click on him and see what he picked up as a level.
Yeah.
That's a plus strength runner.
It's pretty good.
He's gonna pick up
MVP
block and then
MVP on the dead lineman really sucks for the Archangel.
Yeah, that did not go well for Archangel's Will. 30 blocks succeeded, 6 KOs inflicted, 3 injuries inflicted, 1 kill inflicted. I think that kind of describes how the game went. That's 10 of your 11 players off the pitch.
Was he fouling a lot, the Archangel, or were you just getting horribly diced on armor? I see you there in chat.
Well, we can look at dice rolls, I guess, although armor is kind of bad.
Yeah, you don't really see foul rolls, so...
9 successful armor rolls, 4 failed armor rolls.
Oh, you're looking at Liverpool.
Yeah, 13 successful, 22 failed.
That's higher than average. Average is 42% for armor 7. Unless they're a mighty blow on the dwarf side.
The number of dice that the dwarfs rolled is hilarious. It's like they rolled 4 6s and 5 1s because they didn't roll any dice for anything. But, dwarves.
Yeah, jeez.
And almost all of 7 of those rolls are pickups. That's
really stupid. All right, let's move on to the predictions. Game. So we have a bye versus a bye. Always great.
I predict the bye is going to win. And we have the Nagaron Nut Punches versus Archangel's Will.
Oh, this is the
really broken Dark Elf team. Yeah. Against the High Elf team the Wood Elf team that is potentially broken right now after that Dwarves. Although they seem okay. Linemen miss next game, but most of them must have been badly hurts or something rather than anything scary.
At this stage, given his development, he's got a really nice catcher. I would give this to the Wood Elves.
I'm going to say the same thing.
The strip ball does a lot of work, and the Dark Elves probably don't have sure hands to deal with it. They didn't last time I looked at them. Though they have a level up ending. Yeah, so all that plus agi is going to be nice, but it doesn't really save you against strip ball.
Yeah. Next we have Liverful, the dwarves that we just were talking about, and the Chew Toys, which is the Necro team, with
Dwarf versus Necro.
One block werewolf. So on the one hand, the Block Claw Werewolf has the chance to do something to dwarves, but that's only one
This is
player.
Razor Sharp's team. He filled in. I remember hearing about this.
Yep. Although that Strength 4 runner is certainly going to make removing the ball a bit harder.
I would normally give this to the dwarves. The Mighty Blow on the whites is not going to do a lot versus Armor 9. I mean, it makes a difference, but your entire team is Armor 9 and he's a dwarf. So the werewolves can't really do anything without being frenzy trapped, because I mean it's very easy to frenzy trap as dwarves because you travel as a giant dwarf mass.
And they have at least some guard now, compared to none like they sort of had before. I think I would like to give this to the dwarves.
Yeah, just in terms of like bashing skills, the dwarves have it very clearly. So
Broken Boys and the Snot Knockaz. That'll be interesting considering they're both near the top of the division currently. Man, like, this is almost entirely emotional. Like, I gotta cheer for my Broken Boys because I like Khemri and they're doing well, and I like seeing him play. I'm gonna pick Hogstench because I like to be right. I'm gonna pick Broken Boys not because I think they're gonna win, but because I want them to. I picked the Broken Boys with the caveat that if they lose, I'm not claiming it as being wrong.
Sorry, no can do.
I really like that Khemri. Like they're playing well. They're doing well, especially early. They don't really have a ton of amazing levels yet, but
we just saw the Orcs play, and the Orcs played really well as well.
They did, but I like the Khemri. You know.
All right, Friendship is Massacre versus One Cheese. This is going to be an interesting game for sure.
No, like the Orcs are gonna win, but I want the Khemri to win. Okay. Friendship is Massacre versus One Cheese. So that's morally the Undead.
Undead versus Skaven.
The Skaven are gonna get a ton of inducements.
They are. Wait, no, they're not. What are you talking about?
They're 980.
One Cheese is 1250. You're looking at the wrong.
Oh, that's Strats Rats. Wrong Skaven team. Right. Which Skaven team? This is the. Oh, so they actually have levels, right? It's Horns. There's a Wrestle Strip Ball Gutter Runner. Ooh. Storm Vermin has Mighty Blow.
It's a really good sidestep. Is a bit. Actually, I don't know.
That's hard.
That makes a lot of sense.
On the one hand, Block Dodge Ghoul with plus Agi. On the other hand, Wrestle Strip Ball.
The problem is you're going to be carrying on that Block Dodge Ghoul.
And there's no sure hands.
The Wrestle Strip Ball Gutter Runner doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, and the mummies are good, but once again, the rats don't give a fuck. They'll just feed you They'll feed you line rats, to the best of their abilities, and just hope that they can keep their 2 gutter runners alive long enough to win the game. Sorry, morally, but I think I've got to give this to One Cheese.
I have mixed feelings.
Friday, 12 a.m. What time zone?
I mean, if it's midnight in any American time zone, we will not be watching it.
If it's midnight in Pacific time, I can watch it.
No, that would be 4 a.m. for you, Ben.
Oh, right.
That's how time works.
I'm really tired. It's 11:30.
It's 'cause your fucking computer sucks. That's why it's
Computer's great. The CPU cooler I bought because it was pretty was not a good choice, turns out.
Anyway, I think this is really close. I really want to watch that game, morally, so if you could send it to us, we will do our best to stream it. I've wanted to watch one of Rex Longbone's games, so...
Yeah, me too.
Please keep us posted.
I'm going to give it to Skaven, though. Midnight EST on Friday? That's 1 a.m. Rough.
I will be in Quebec City on Friday, so you're on your own. You mean 12 p.m. then?
Oh, 12 p.m.
12 p.m. is noon.
Well, I will be I will be at work, so I definitely can't do it.
Yes.
Sadly. I work from 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, AST, so I work, which is 1 hour ahead of EST. Work 8 to 4 EST.
I will also vote Skaven just to spur morally on. I think it's going to be I think that's a coin toss. Undead are pretty good at dealing with early Skaven, but the Skaven have some really nice levels. It's going to be anyone's game.
9:30 CST is 11:30 p.m. my time, so that's not likely for me to be able to cast live, sadly. Yeah, Shadorra is in Quebec, and I am in Nova Scotia.
I'm in Montreal, but I will be in Quebec City this weekend.
Gods of Metal is a bye week, and Komodo Killers and See Our Boys Giant Stags is the last game. So Komodo Killers are Volpes and Culta's lizards, who have
done very, very well. And See Our Boys has also done very well, which are Wood Elves. Normally, I would give Wood Elves over lizards any day. It can come down to who loses players early, but the strip or the wrestle plus agi catcher can cage dive really easily.
So can the strip ball war dancer.
Yeah, strip ball war dancer. Tackle war dancer is going to kill skinks just all day.
Yeah, there's only 2 skinks currently. So there's going to be, he's got 260k. So he's going to buy something, presumably.
He'll probably buy skinks back. He doesn't need anything else. So you don't really want rookie skinks because you need to do rerolls with skinks.
Yeah, there's only 1 block Saurus, but he's got 2 Saurus level ups pending. So those will likely be block.
Yes, and that helps. But I would still give this to the Wood Elves. I've played a lot of Lizard. Playing Wood Elves really sucks.
Yeah. Like I like the Lizards, and they're definitely doing well. I want to give it to the Wood Elves too, but once again, I think this is I would not be surprised if it went either way thing.
Sure.
Right.
But also the Wood Elves have built a team that is very good at dealing with the Lizards because they have a plethora of dodge, and the Lizards, of course, have no tackle. So.
Yeah. Like I think the Wood Elves will win, but it's like a 70-30 maybe. Like.
No, I mean I don't even think it's that strong. Another 60-40.
I think the Lizards have a reasonable chance of winning, certainly, but.
Also, we keep picking Volpes and Culta's opponent, and then he gets really salty and just wins the game.
I know, it's great.
I really like spurring players on with spite.
See Our Boys.
Compelling.
What did he roll? Yeah, that's true. He has a level pending on a lineman, and we don't know what it is. It might be guard. And the leaderboard. Well, Rex Longbone is 5-1-0, along with the Komodo Killers at 5-1-0. But if our predictions are right, then suddenly that changes this week in that the Skaven will pull ahead, because we predicted the Skaven will win, and we predicted the Komodo Killers would not win. So the leaderboard could be in for a drastic shakeup if we are correct in our predictions.
It's true. We like predicting dramatic things, so we hope it happens. The Archangel, talk to your admin or look into the REBBL rules on the subreddit. On the subreddit, it should be able to tell you. I'm not sure offhand. I don't play in REBBL. So.
It's a little more complicated for REBBL in that like the top divisions tend to get more playoff spots than the lower divisions do. Right, like division like REL 1.
Yeah, but even
it's
for
like 2 or 3.
I don't know how division advancement works. So.
Yeah, that's a different question, I guess. If you mean in terms of like playoffs, you're probably not going to make it unless you're 1 or 2 in the division. If you're talking about in terms of advancement, I have no idea how that works, honestly. I have not looked into it. But you will probably go up. Like the 9A through E is basically for fresh teams, essentially. Like it's very unlikely that you'll be in the lowest division if you continue the same team forward. It's mostly for fresh teams. Or teams that got like super beaten up in the last division or the last season. So if you like finish 6th, you're likely to move up to like 8 or 7. But it depends on how many teams sign up, et cetera, et cetera. But you won't likely be in the fresh division if you keep the same team. Khemri, Broken Boy is still doing good. If we predict, if that prediction goes well, in the way that I want it to, they will be second.
I mean, they're only 1 point behind
Yep.
Hogstench, who I also predicted win. Hogstench is the one of the only undefeated coaches, I should say. 'Cause Zimmerman and Rex Longbone are also undefeated.
Broken Boys are ahead of Hogstench.
Yes, by 1 point. That's what I said.
I thought you said they were behind Hogstench by 1 point.
It's possible I did.
So that's definitely a game to pay attention to. Like, I would like to watch that. We have watched Broken Boys and Hogstench, but maybe I'll watch it on my own sometime and cast it rather outside of the.
We want to definitely cast Rex Longbone and the Morley's game.
We've done a bunch of Morley too, but I want to see Rex Longbone. I'll maybe someday this week when I'm not doing anything, assuming that the Khemri and Orc game gets played at a reasonable time, I'll just cast the replay on my own when I am free this week, because I would like to see it.
Yeah, I won't be here this weekend, but feel free.
Because mostly I would like to see it, because that match actually determines quite a bit here, right? The winner is going to jump ahead in the standings, probably up to first or second, or at least second or third.
It's a big week for
a lot of teams. Yeah. Wood Elf, both the Wood Elf teams could jump up to 4 wins, which would put them up there, especially with the number of ties they've had. Even Archangel's Will with 2, 3, and 1. There's still a reasonable chance of getting up there if you start to win. Keeping those losses down is what's important. Like, basically the only teams that are sort of out are the Dark Elves and below. Poor Squiggy.
Yeah, it's going to be really fascinating.
Yeah, this is a big week. I'm excited to take a look at how the leaderboards shake up come our next div review. So that's this for this week. Sorry it was late. It seemed also a bit long because there were some technical difficulties. If you missed parts that you would like to see, they will be up on YouTube ideally tomorrow, but we'll see. If my computer decides to continue to hate me, that might change, but I'll do my best. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Once again, sorry it was late. Next week we will go back to what we've done the week before, and we'll take a look at the teams again. I'm going to do my best this week to just try to cast some of these, whether it's live or whether it's the replays. Because we don't need to save any for the div review, and there's a few important matches this week, so I'd like to get some eyes on those if we can.
So yeah, make sure you're sending us the times you're playing at. As people have probably noticed, we try to stream most of the ones you send us. So.
Yep, and especially this week, I think I'm going to even try to cast some of the replays, assuming they get played earlier in the week, because my stream times are generally Wednesday, Thursday, Friday type days. So if they get played before then, I'll probably be able to cast replays.
Yeah, we're going to be a bit busier moving forward. Both of us got promoted to admins of the REBBL League this week, so. And
More work
anything
to do.
You can do to make our lives easier by sending us clips or sending us times that you're playing your games is really appreciated. We're happy to make content, but it's harder when we have to go looking for it, you know?
Yeah. So I will be doing some more streaming potentially tomorrow and likely this weekend because I don't have a whole lot going on. So feel free to hit that follow button if you want to be notified when I go live and do more Blood Bowl stuff. But if not, that's cool. And if you missed some of this, it'll be up on YouTube later. It is also Steakmittens. I've been Steakmittens.
I'm Shadorra.
Thanks for watching, folks, and we'll see you next time.